We going big. We going for it all this year.
In the corner, and that one is money.
3-4, Welker in the corner, he knocks it down once again.
Smith was just automatic from beyond the arc. It's a Northeast Indiana battle on a Friday night as the number 8 Warsaw Tigers travel to Spartan Arena to take on the Homestead Spartans. Good evening, everybody. I'm Braxton alongside Atticus Dean. And Atticus, it's been a great start to the year for both these squads, and now an early season test for both sides.
Yeah, Braxton, and last year these two teams faced off in a tight contest around this time, and I think I speak for everyone when I say I hope this game is as entertaining as their last one.
That game last year came down to the wire. The Spartans led most of the evening before a late run from the Tigers handed the victory to Warsaw. And with that, let's get into the OPS pregame show by taking a look at the opening slate for the Warsaw Tigers, which features 4 straight non-conference games before facing Wawasee in the Northern Lakes Conference opener.
And the Tigers start the year with a good slate of competitive games, which will help them get high-level reps early and prepare them for the long season ahead of them.
And these are all teams from the area that they're facing that either they've been really good in the past, they're powerhouse programs, teams that are hoping to have good seasons again this year. A great balanced schedule, some teams that are really good at offense, some that are more defensive, and a great opening stretch for the Tigers to get into this season.
Yeah, the Tigers just going against all sorts of different types of teams, just trying to prepare themselves for any and all situations they may find themselves in this season, as they are ranked number 8, so they have some expectations for themselves.
And just one game in the books for the Tigers, that was a 62-53 win versus Columbia City.
And it was a great team win as the entire team contributed, and the Tigers found offense from just about everyone on their roster.
Meanwhile, the Spartans have started the year well with 2 victories and have one more non-conference game after tonight before they open SAC play against Bishop Dwenger.
And the Spartans also face tough opponents with different play styles. I mean, Warsaw and DeKalb, both games last year for the Spartans were very close, and they'll also face a conference opponent in Dwenger. So again, another competitive start for the Spartans this year.
And 1 week from tonight is that conference opener against Dwenger. What do you think this team looks to focus on these next 2 games they have in non-conference play?
I think this team just needs to focus on getting a quick start. I mean, against Tippecanoe Valley and Manchester, they had sort of a slow start, whether it be just both teams having a slow start in general or the Spartans themselves. So if they can get up and going early in the game and build an early lead, that'll be key for their success.
And speaking of Manchester, the Spartans, they were trailing at the end of 1 quarter in that game, but they went on to win it 71-48 in dominating fashion.
Yeah, the Spartans just had an offensive explosion in that second half, getting out of that slow start and really just awakening their team and their offense, and Manchester just couldn't keep up offensively, so that's why the Spartans able to get a dominant win.
Well, there are 2 other boys games today featuring SAC teams. Snyder and Southside is the only SAC conference matchup on the docket tonight.
Yeah, Snyder Southside is definitely a game to pay attention to, as it's the first inter-SAC matchup of the year, but DeKalb Northside will also be a very entertaining game, so just a great night for SAC hoops all around.
If only for a short time, the winner of that Snyder-Southside game will be in sole possession of first place in the conference. The Lady Spartans, they travel for a conference matchup tonight against the rival Carroll Chargers. We'll be bringing you updates throughout the night. That should be a fun one to keep our eye on as well. That game just moments away from tip-off, as is this one. We're going to step away on the other side. It's starting lineups and opening tip-off between the Homestead Spartans and the number 8 Warsaw Tigers.
Rethink your limits. Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
For more than 30 years and 2 generations, RT and Colin Green have given Fort Wayne more than proven personal injury representation. They have shared everyday life with the people they serve. These deep ties give RT, Colin, and every member of Team Green Law the local Fort Wayne knowledge and insight to know the best way to help you get the recovery you deserve. See the difference local experience makes. For a free consultation, visit us online at teamgreenlaw.com. Team Green Law, for you, with you.
Back here at Spartan Arena, starting lineups just about to be announced. First off, the Warsaw Tigers, 6'4" senior Luke Bricker, 6'3" senior Robbie Finlinson, 6'4" senior Brant Martin, 6 foot senior Carson Gould, and 6'7" junior Jaron Courtois.
Now, Braxton, I don't know if you picked up on a trend like I did, but I noticed that starting lineup for the Tigers is full of height and experience. I mean, what else can I say? Just a lot of seniors and juniors that are very tall and very gifted at this sport.
We're going to talk about those two things throughout the night. 8 seniors on the team, and of course the height that we just talked about. And, junior Courtois standing at 6'7", and the other guys in the starting lineup, no slouches either when it comes to height. 6'4", Luke Bricker, Brant Martin, 6'4" as well. And this is a Warsaw team. They're going to try to run it through the post. They had a slow start in 3-point shooting in their first game, but one thing they haven't had any issues in is working the ball down low. Meanwhile, for the Spartans, it'll be 6'1" senior Josh Rogers, 6'2" senior Owen Smith, 6 foot sophomore Jake Kuhlman, 6'5" sophomore Mac Welker, and 6'4" senior Wyatt Weaver.
The Spartans do have some size of their own, but they're going to have to play well as a team on the glass, and they're also going to have to play with some pace, try to expose maybe some of the slowness from the Tigers due to the height.
See the Spartans lineup line just a little bit crowded right there. It's youth night here at Spartan Arena, so the youth players out there for the starting lineups. And Homestead, so 2-0 coming into this game. Last year, this squad, the offense struggled. It was no secret. They relied so heavily on their defensive play. But so far to begin this year, yeah, the first game was a little bit slow against Tippecanoe. But in that Manchester game, the offense really ratcheted it up.
I think the Spartans, they're getting used to the group of guys they have. I mean, last year they went through sort of an identity change, getting a lot of new people mixed in with lineups. And when you have a year to gain some trust and gain experience playing with some guys, it's going to help you, especially for the Spartans on the offensive end.
2 great coaches leading the charge in tonight's game. Coach Chris Johnson of the Spartans, over 400 career wins as the coach of the Spartans, over 500 career wins overall. Then meanwhile, Coach Matt Moore of the Warsaw Tigers, over 150 career wins in 11 seasons, and then 65 wins with the Tigers. Teams heading out onto the floor as we get ready for this one. The Tigers, the slight favorites, number 8 in the state, but they have to travel, go on the road into Spartan Arena. Homestead trying to make it a tough evening tonight on the Warsaw Tigers. Tony Bowman, Craig Hershey, and Justin Fall, the officials for tonight's game. Welker for the Spartans, Bricker for the Tigers, and Homestead controls the opening tip.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Spartans go to early, how they try to get their offense set up against this zone defense of the Tigers.
Ball in the hands of Kuhlman. Now Smith with it. Those two just going back and forth. Homestead, they're not going to force a whole lot of shots. They're going to take their time. They'll look for the 3 ball, but they'll try to get it inside as well.
Spartans play with a nice, slow, methodical pace, and they try to get open looks. Like right there, Owen Smith, wide open 3. One of the best shooters on this team. You cannot leave him open.
Already 50% on the year from beyond the arc. That'll hope to average out a little bit right there. Gould with it. Out to Bricker, guarded by Rogers. Bricker trying to swing it outside. Courtois gets it now. Tigers thinking about a deep 3-pointer of their own. Finlayson's going to take it that time. Catches the rim, and they're going to get a loose ball foul charge to the Tigers.
You already noticed on that play, Smith making such a great effort to try to box out the Tigers, just try to get to the ball, as Tigers have the clear size advantage, so they're definitely going to make it a focal point of their game plan tonight to dominate the glass against the Spartans.
Speaking of size advantage, the tallest player on the court, Courtois, picks up the foul, just his first, but a minute into the game already, he can't get into foul trouble. This team's going to need his size down low.
Yeah, Braxton, you cannot get a 6'7" player just from anywhere, so they're going to need him at all times.
Kuhlman with the put back there, and Kuhlman, he is all over the place when it comes to getting rebounds both offensively and defensively, only averaging 5.5 points per game, but the off-ball he makes are so important. Finlayson gets the long ball to go.
And you were just talking about it. Kuhlman is a player that always finds a way to contribute. Even if he doesn't have the ball, he's not a ball-dominant player, but he does run the show for the Spartans, but he doesn't demand the ball at all times, just really trying to set up his team.
Smith with it now. Back to Kuhlman. Smith maybe thought about the 3-pointer again. Welker from the mid-range, that time off the mark again. He's 0 for 2 to start this one.
And the Tigers, their zone defense, they're going to try to get the Spartans to force up these mid-range shots, these not the most efficient shots. I mean, the Spartans, they love to shoot the 3-ball, so if you can run them off the line, their offense can struggle.
Getting it a foul call here. It's going to be charged to Welker. And that's his first. Now the 2 tallest players in this game, each with a foul. That'll send Luke Bricker to the free throw line for the Tigers, taking his first free throw of the season, and it's money. First substitution of the game. Meidenberger is going to check in place of Martin. 3 juniors on the team for the Tigers. Second free throw. That one is good as well. So Bricker, a couple of points to start the night. This game's now knotted up at 5.
And already, I know it's early, Braxton, but again, just another competitive game so far between these two teams. Both teams so evenly matched. Just a great matchup anytime these two teams are up against each other.
The Spartans have dominated this series all time, 11-2, but the Tigers winning it last year, and a lot of the games have been competitive down to the wire. Here come the Tigers looking to go quickly up the floor. 3-pointer from Gould, in and out. Welker gets the board for the Spartans.
Gould there with a nice pass fake to get the wide open look, just couldn't get it to rattle home.
And then pickpocketed it on the other end. Finlayson trying to take it all the way, draws some contact, no foul call though, and he'll get the lay-in to go.
And a rare turnover there from the Spartans. They're a great team at taking care of the ball. They're so disciplined with their approach of handling the ball, but they're just a mistake that cannot happen and leads to an easy layup for the Tigers.
Weaver with it, out to a wide open Josh Rogers, 3-pointer in and out, so on both ends. Ball struggling to drop in from deep these last couple of possessions. Down the floor, Gould has it poked free. Trying to reset, find someone open. No one on that side. Kuhlman all over him. Gould passes out to the top. Finlayson. Now back to Gould. Calling for an offensive set here. Tigers, slowest possession they've had in this game. Berger with it, dishes it outside. Gould loses the hand on it. Diving effort. Spartans come up with it. Coach Johnson's going to get a timeout. Josh Rogers, right place, right time. Able to get down on the ball. And the Spartans get the timeout to retain possession. Tigers' early lead is his first time out of the game. So, seen about 3.5 minutes. What's your early impressions of this one?
I mean, it's a great competitive matchup like we expected. The Spartans right now are struggling to get some shots to go in. Welker 0 for 3 from the field early. It's unusual for him as he's been a leading scorer for this Spartans team. And the Tigers, their offense, their half-court offense has been very slow, but whenever they get the chance to push in transition, boy, they have gone and tried to get the opportunity to go. Anytime there's been a turnover or a quick stop on defense, they've gone and shot out into transition lanes.
And one thing I've noticed, both teams defensively have seemed pretty content to let the other side attempt three-pointers. Both teams have gotten one three-pointer to fall so far, but the rest have rattled in and out, and both teams just seem content to let the long ball fly right now.
I mean, I guess the philosophy for these teams is if you're going to beat us by shooting contested threes and hitting tough shots, so be it. Just no easy points in the paint.
Coleman with it. Now Welker dishing it down. Oh, Weaver trying to get some points in the paint. Now outside to Smith. Rogers with it. Starting 5 out there for the Spartans at the moment. 4 of the starting 5 out there for the Tigers. Down low to Welker. And he's going to be called for a travel, just shuffling his feet there. I was kind of anticipating the call. It came a little bit later, but just right there. Got to get that dribble down. That's a turnover.
Welker looked to go up with it as soon as he caught it, but seeing that the Tigers defender did not jump for his pump fake, he got a little too excited and moved. But Welker has to stay focused. He is such a key player for the team. He cannot get down on himself.
Finlinson three-pointer is off the mark once again. So now here comes Kuhlman for the Spartans. Still just down by 2. Both offenses stagnating a little bit. Smith, and we're going to get a whistle. That foul is going to be charged to Gould.
And the Tigers so far in this one have been playing very aggressive defense. They're not allowing the Spartans to get easy catches. They're not allowing the Spartans to do anything without feeling the pressure from their defense.
Coleman inbounds it to Welker. Coleman with it. Spartans trying to get this possession, end up in some points. Coleman dishes it down inside, and Weaver got a little bit tied up with Martin. That'll be a turnover.
See, I just talked about it. Weaver trying to post up all game, and the Tigers just not allowing him to get easy catches, just bodying up, not allowing him to even catch it. And there, a little bit of contact, but no call, so Spartans with the turnover.
Bricker with it now. Martin. Dished inside, wide open. Brant Martin, easy lay-in.
And right now, the Spartans just seem a little confused, a little shocked. I mean, their shots have not been falling. That's kind of caught them off guard. So now, defense, just a mental lapse there, just a wide open layup for the Tigers.
Coleman with it now for the Spartans. Ball poked free. And that'll stay on this end, but good effort from Berger.
And again, just the physical defense from the Tigers, continuing not allowing the Spartans to get anything going. They're picking them up about the volleyball line, just constant pressure, not allowing them to set anything up.
Coleman gets it in the back court. Spartans on a scoring drought right now. Haven't scored since early on in this one. And the starting 5 still out there, so trying to get some offense going with this lineup for Homestead. Smith down low to Welker. Tight defense continuing from the Tigers. Rogers a little bit of space, but that would have been a deep three-point attempt. Rogers now driving, tries to float it up, and that is rejected. Bricker swats it away, goes to the ground on the other end, but able to get back up. Now the Tigers going quickly, and that's going to be a travel. Martin trying to spin around and get the ball to Lara. Doesn't work out.
Sort of a break on that last possession there for the Spartans as Martin had it in the paint, had great position, was looking for Lara on the cut, but couldn't get it due to the travel call, so now Spartans have a chance to capitalize.
Ball goes out of play. Stay down here with the Spartans off the deflection. And quick update from the girls' game. Homestead has opened that one with a 17-0 run. The Chargers having just scored their first point of the game. We'll keep you updated throughout the evening on that one. So Spartans winning at the Carroll game, trailing here against the Tigers. Rogers, Coleman dishes it out to Smith. Swinging it around the world are the Spartans. Now Weaver trying to force one up, and it does not fall. A lid on the basket for Homestead. Tigers going quickly in transition. Berger, double team comes from Homestead. Now kicked, extra pass made. Martin, three-pointer. That time's off the mark. Coolman with it now for the Spartans. Rogers out to Smith. Now Weaver, and a foul going to be called. I think it was Gould trying to bring the pressure. He'll pick up his second.
And offensively for the Spartans, they've just struggled to move the ball quickly. And the ball's just sticking to their players' hands. They're not moving the ball with the pass enough. They're trying to dribble, and it's causing them to not get wide open looks. I mean, you saw in that last possession, they started moving the ball quickly. Weaver caught it in the post, but took a little too long to either go up with it or kick it back out, and he took a contested fadeaway shot in the paint. So Spartans, if they can get some better ball movement, some quicker ball movement, that'll help their offense.
Foul was actually called against Reed Nelson. He comes right back out of the game. Rodenbush to Coolman. Spartans finally change up their lineup with Rodenbush and Good into the game. Coolman forces one up, doesn't get it to fall, but will get himself to the free throw line.
Coolman there with just some crafty footwork in the post, making his defender think he was going to kick out. Goes up, draws the foul, so now he has a chance to put two more for the Spartans at the free throw line.
Foul charge to Meidenberger. So now Coolman, only taking one free throw this season, and gets that one to fall. So that breaks the seal on a long scoring drought for the Spartans. Coolman trying to turn this into a two-point possession, and does just that.
Maybe the Spartans can take those points, turn it into some momentum on the defensive and the offensive end, but first they have to get a stop.
Berger with it. Now LaRoe. Finlinson. Berger again. Tigers slowing down the pace a little bit. It's going to slow in the last couple of minutes to this one. Ball comes loose. LaRoe right there to pick it up. And we'll have it once again. Now under a minute to play in the first quarter. Martin for the Tigers. Hands it off to Finlinson. Man, Warsaw just really chewing the clock right now, and with the 2-point lead, I mean, might as well.
Yeah, and also the intensity of the Spartans defense has picked up. They're playing tighter defense. They're not getting lost on the screens like they were before. Tigers are going to have to go do some of their bag of tricks to try to get an open shot.
Ball poked free. Josh Rogers right there trying to take it coast to coast to lay it in.
And here's some of the momentum that the Spartans needed. Nice defensive play turns to an easy bucket. Spartans trying to turn it around after the slow start.
Homestead has gotten the last 4 points. Now an off-ball offensive foul is going to be called. It's going to go against Berger. So this will be his second foul of the game now. That's going to bring Carson Gould back into the game as Berger heads to the sideline. So 14 seconds to work with here for the Spartans. Coolman, he's been in this entire first quarter, bringing it up the floor and dangerously close to a backcourt violation there. Now Rodenbush, forward to play with. Coolman behind the back, hoists up the three-pointer. Coolman swishes it to end the first quarter. And Homestead ends the first on a 7-0 run. And they will take a 12-9 lead into quarter number 2.
Rethink your limits.
For more than 30 years and 2 generations, RT and Colin Green have given Fort Wayne more than proven personal injury representation. They have shared everyday life with the people they serve. These deep ties give RT, Colin, and every member of Team Green Law the local Fort Wayne knowledge and insight to know the best way to help you get the recovery you deserve. See the difference local experience makes. For a free consultation, visit us online at teamgreenlaw.com. Team Green Law, for you, with you.
Back here at Homestead High School. Homestead Spartans ended the first quarter on a 7-0 run, and they hold a 12-9 lead over the Warsaw Tigers.
The Spartans got off to another slow start, something that they find themselves doing so often, but they were able to bounce back towards the end of that first quarter. Josh Rogers and Jake Kuhlman with some big-time momentum plays for the Spartans.
Meanwhile, 1 quarter of play also in the books up north at Carroll. Homestead a 24-5 lead. They opened that game on a 17-0 run. It's a good start to the evening so far for Spartans fans. Finlinson goes up with it. Contact, no whistle. Ball loose on the ground. Welker there, so good job by Rodenbush to poke it free cleanly. And Rodenbush with it on the offensive end. Kuhlman, Welker, head fake. Now back to Kuhlman. Rodenbush, corner 3 is up. That time it rattles home.
And Rodenbush's defensive efforts rewarded on the offensive end. Just a wide open corner 3. Money for Michael Rodenbush.
And instantly, Coach Moore calls a timeout as it is now a 10-0 run for the Spartans after a slow start to this one. Homestead's offense, much like they did a week ago, on Tuesday against Manchester, they're settling in.
Braxton, Spartans just able to battle adversity, able to settle in quickly despite the slow start of the first quarter. They were able to get it picked up towards the end of that first quarter, now early in the second quarter. And obviously no team wants to start slow, but the way the Spartans have been able to battle back and get going quickly after a slow start has been very impressive.
So quick timeout from Coach Moore. Tigers back with it, down by 6. What do you think they talked about in the huddle?
I think they just talked about staying calm, and despite the struggles offensively going right now, they just need to keep playing their game and just use their size. I mean, the Spartans have gotten lost on a lot of their screens early, so if they can just try to get the Spartans to get in a bad situation defensively, they can get shots like that to go in.
There you go. Luke Bricker gets that one to fall. He had 9 points in their last game against Columbia City. Rodenbush to Kuhlman. Now Rogers with it. Aiden Good. Trying to get it back up top. Gould right there to grab it, and he's going to be fouled. And Kuhlman there just trying to stop the easy, fast break opportunity.
Heads up play by Kuhlman, not allowing an easy layup for the Tigers and forcing them to get something going in their half-court offense.
Catch and shoot 3-pointer off the inbound, and that one is money. Brant Martin, he's up to 5 points.
Well, rather than getting to their half-court offense, why not get into their inbound offense? Just a simple inbound play for a wide-open 3, and the Tigers are battling back.
All of a sudden, Warsaw scoring the last 6 points and have tied this game back up at 15. Kuhlman to Rodenbush. And trying to find somewhere to go with it. Backs it back out. Welker, mid-range shot that he loves so much, a bit strong that time. And then a foul as Rodenbush came down into Courtois, so that is going to be a foul for him. He picks up his first. All right, Weaver going to check back into the game for Homestead. Leading Good will head to the bench. So Warsaw now on a 6-0 run of their own. They've tied this game up at 15. Starting lineup out there on the floor for the Tigers. It's been the best lineup for them so far. Spinning around, ball comes free. Josh Rogers once again diving to the ground to get it, and Coach Johnson somehow got a timeout while that was happening. So already the 3rd timeout used in this game by one of the 2 teams. And this time it'll give possession to the Spartans.
Again, Josh Rogers with the hustle play, diving on the floor. Spartans' defensive intensity definitely picked up, and offensively they're trying to get the ball in the middle of the court. You saw it there, Mac Welker, wide open mid-range jump shot, couldn't get it to go. But the Spartans, they can turn their intense defense to quick offense and try to beat the Tigers before they can even set up their zone defense. That'd be huge for them.
Yeah, Homestead has done good whenever they've been able to go quickly. Really, both of these teams have seemed to be at their best when they can go quickly when the defenses don't get a chance to settle in.
Which both these teams love to play with a slower pace, so it's quite interesting. But when you have 2 intense defenses like these 2 teams have here tonight, you have to try to go quickly before your opponent can settle in and put the pressure on you.
So following the timeout, Homestead offense back out onto the floor, and we got a loose one on the court. We mentioned it's a youth night, and a little kid out there stealing the show. We'll get back to the stands, and we'll get back underway. Hey, just got to join in on the action. It's a fun night of basketball. Everyone wants to be out there playing.
Yeah, it's a great night. Just both teams full of energy, both teams competing, and even the little guy had to get in on the energy.
See if the Spartans can get the ball into the basket on this possession. Kuhlman with it. Now Rogers swung out to Mac Welker. Now Weaver with it. He'll go up, contact, and no. Travel going to be the call before the shot. So we've seen a few of those down low for the Spartans.
And the Spartans can just maintain their pivot foot and not travel in the paint. They can get easy points in the paint. I mean, Wyatt Weaver, it's hard to stop him one-on-one in the post. So if he can just keep his feet under control, and he can get easy points.
Spartans come away with the ball in a scrum there. Kuhlman trying to go behind the back, just somehow gets it across the timeline between two defenders. Now he's going to take a three-pointer, and how about that? That was the possession of Jake Kuhlman from beginning to end.
I mean, we talk about it all the time, Jake Kuhlman making impacts both sides of the court, both offensively and defensively, and that play sums it up right there. The high-energy play leads to him with a wide-open three.
Martin with it. Now Courtois dishes it to Bricker. Now look at that, no look pass to Finlinson. A little bit low, but good enough. Keep the possession alive. Now Martin getting go up for the three-pointer. That is money. These teams just going back and forth shot for shot.
I mean, both teams kind of hunting for the three ball to get back at each other, and it's worked for both teams. I mean, just too much space there for Martin, just money from downtown.
Kuhlman going for another three, top of the key, and he is feeling it right now, already into double digits.
You want to talk about someone that's feeling it? Jake Kuhlman continuing to shoot 100% from the three-point line this season. He's such a great player and such a great shooter.
Bricker with it now. Can the Tigers respond with a three of their own? Well, it's not quite a three, but the long two falls for the Tigers.
And both these teams' offense are starting to wake up. We're getting into a shootout. Braxton, this is personally my favorite type of basketball. Just great offensive play on both ends.
Up and down the floor quickly these last few minutes. Kuhlman with it. Trying to keep the theme going. Dishes it to Weaver, and another travel. So Wyatt Weaver, he's been called for a few on his own down low. And that'll turn it over. We're going to get some substitutions. Brogan McNeese going to check in for the first time for the Spartans. Owen Smith going to check back in as well. Meanwhile, Sam LaRue comes in for the Tigers. 1 point advantage for Homestead, but Warsaw in possession. Ball in the hands of Gould. And whistle. There's some contact off ball in the paint. I don't think the foul's going to go against Homestead. That goes against McNeese, who just checked into the game.
And McNeese trying to make an impact. That's not the way to do it, to draw a foul. You checking in early. If he gets in foul trouble, the Spartans are going to have to go back to Weaver, and Weaver needs a break right now as his mental game's starting to get checked out due to his turnovers, but he just has to stay calm. If he can control himself and get back to his offensive game, then he can shine.
A little bit smaller lineups into the game for both sides. Obviously, Weaver on the bench for the Spartans. Welker on the bench as well, as the three-pointer is off the mark. Courtois on the bench for the Tigers. Three-pointer, second chance opportunity. Just a bit strong. Roddenbush gets the board for Homestead. Now Kuhlman with it for the Spartans. 3 minutes to play in the first half. Roddenbush drives, can't get it to fall. Parker Justice gets the board into the game for the first time. Bricker, ball pops free, tries to tip it to his teammate. Ends up in the hands of Brogan McNeese for the Spartans. Now Kuhlman bobbles it. Starts his dribble cleanly.
Both teams just playing so fast, starting to rack up some turnovers, but if one team can just slow down and get a nice possession, then they can build some momentum.
Smith forces the mid-range shot, can't get it to go. Now Gould with it. Tosses back, deep three-pointer. That one falls. Luke Bricker drains it.
Luke Bricker just not allowing the Spartans to give him any space from three. Saw that from just shy the volleyball line.
Roddenbush just gets the pass to McNeese. Has a lane, kicks it out. Rogers can't quite handle it. Pass might have been a little bit wide.
McNeese had two wide open teammates in that corner. Just maybe both so open, just didn't know which one to give it to, so just in the middle, Rogers couldn't corral it. Spartans turnover.
So the Tigers, the 2-point lead, now in possession of the ball. And this one has been so close to any lead seems to matter a whole lot right now. Gould brings it up the floor. Now LaRoe. Out, three-pointer, catch and shoot from Justice. Gets it to fall, and right now Warsaw is loving the deep ball up top.
I mean, it's such a luxury if you're a team that has the size and can also stretch the floor like the Tigers. While they have the size advantage of the Spartans as a collective team, they are just using that size to shoot over the Spartans again and again.
Welker tosses it to Rodenbush. Goes for the pump fake. Now Rodenbush with it again. Coleman. Rodenbush as Weaver's back into the game for the Spartans, and ball bounces around. They're going to say last touched by Homestead. So now the Tigers run the biggest leads of the night, up to 5 points. 1:22 to go here in the second quarter. Getting good, get a check back in for the Spartans as Rodenbush heads to the sideline. And Tigers started bringing it up the floor before we were ready to get things going again, so they'll reset. Carson Gould will be the trigger man on this possession. Hands it off to Finlinson. Now LaRoe. Justice with it. Bricker trying to take it inside. That time sits on the rim. Can't get it to fall. Ball is loose. Tigers end up with it. Three-pointer at the top again. Off the mark this time. Good trying to get it for the Spartans. Ball is loose. And then they're going to say it goes out of bounds off the Tigers. A couple of Warsaw players are in the area. I believe they're saying last touched by Gould.
And despite that possession not working out for the Tigers, I mean, they showed why their team is so good. Not only do they have the size and they can shoot, so Bricker with the pump fake got the Spartans defender. Ante was able to take it to the rim, couldn't get it to go, and then just a fight for the rebounds. The Spartans struggled to get a rebound, but luckily for the Spartans, it was out of bounds, and now they get a chance to fire back offensively.
Kuhlman with it for Homestead. He has been in the entirety of this first half. Trying to go up with it mid-range. That time just in and out. Aiden good for the putback. That time short again. Ball squirts free. Tigers get it. Likely will hold for the final shot.
The Spartans need a stop here. Try to stop some of the bleeding that they've suffered late in this second quarter, as the last 3 minutes of the second quarter has been all Warsaw.
Homestead will get the ball to get the third quarter, assuming no jump balls in the final 10 seconds. Trying to hold it to a 2-possession lead. Three-pointer off the mark. Welker. Spartans have a chance to go quickly. Half-court heat from Kuhlman is short, and that puts an end to the first half. Take a moment and catch your breath. Back and forth quickly in the back end of that second quarter, and we've got a tight one at Spartan Arena. The visiting Warsaw Tigers hold the 5-point lead over the Homestead Spartans.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
The Air National Guard allows you to serve your state and country just 1 weekend a month while living your everyday life the other 28 days. You can earn up to $1,200 a month and get 100% of your college tuition paid for. For more information, search Fort Wayne Black Snakes on Facebook or Instagram, or call 260-478-3247 to connect with a recruiter today.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Welcome into the OPS halftime show here at Spartan Arena. Braxton on with Atticus Dean. It's been a fun one so far. Warsaw Tigers, number 8 team in the state, holding a 5-point lead over the Homestead Spartans. You see on your screen right now the youth basketball league in the area being honored out on the court, and who knows, maybe some future Spartans out on the floor right now.
Yeah, basketball is just such an amazing sport as it can bring everyone together no matter all the ages, and basketball gives to anyone that gives to it, and even the young guys getting some recognition for all the hard work they put in.
Basketball is certainly a game that can be played at any level. It unites generations, and we see that right now. Shifting back to this game, though, at the very beginning, I mean, this was a very even contest, but this game, maybe more so than even most basketball games, has been a game of runs. The Tigers, they were the first ones to break through. Then Homestead went on a 10-0 run. Then the Tigers, they came back, tied the game up. It was back and forth for a while before Warsaw pulled away a little bit at the end of the second quarter.
I mean, Braxton, you mentioned that basketball is a game of runs, and this game is living proof. I mean, Spartans got off to an early run, thought maybe they could keep the run going, but then the Tigers just battled back and went on a huge run of their own. The Spartans just couldn't get anything to go, couldn't recover, so that's why Tigers have a 5-point lead at halftime. But, man, it just feels like this game full of energy, nonstop action, and I love it.
Several players getting involved in this game on both sides. Luke Bricker leading the way for the Tigers in scoring with 10 points. Brant Martin, he has 8. Robbie Finlinson with 5, and Parker Justice has 3. So Tigers doing a good job of spreading the wealth.
I mean, I talked about it in the pregame show. Tigers, whenever they have nice team wins, it's whenever all of their players are finding a way to contribute, whether it be everyone scoring the ball efficiently and cooperatively, or they play great defense together. Just the Tigers, they always find a way to play with such unison that's hard for other teams to stop.
And meanwhile, Jake Coleman with 13 points for the Spartans in the first half. Michael Rodenbush with 3. Owen Smith with 3. Josh Rogers with a couple as well. So Homestead's offense been a little bit more reliant on Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman has stepped up as Spartans really haven't been able to get anything going offensively. A lot of their usual shot makers have not been able to hit shots consistently in this one. So Coleman has stepped up, and he has delivered with 13 of the Spartans' 21, just doing a great job to keep the Spartans in this thing.
And Wyatt Weaver, he struggled a little bit so far in this game. A very talented player. They've gotten the ball to him down low several times. We've seen multiple travel calls against him. If you're a Homestead fan, you're hoping he can get it going in the second half.
Yeah, Weaver is a key player for the Spartans. His presence in the low post offensively is such a pleasure for the Spartans. They're able to get it to him, and he can take just about anyone one-on-one in the post. And if I want to look the other big man for the Spartans, Mac Welker, I mean, he struggled. He hasn't hit a shot all game, and he's had great looks. He just can't get him to go. So if Weaver and Welker can both be going in that second half, it will be great for the Spartans.
Spartan basketball fans splitting their attention right now as the girls basketball team also in action at the moment up north against the Carroll Chargers. And the Spartans leading that one 32-20.
Lady Spartans doing their job so far in that one, taking care of business against the rival Carroll. And hopefully for the Spartans, both teams can come away with a win tonight. But I'm sure that the Tigers and the Chargers would both love to spoil the perfect night for the Spartans.
Certainly that is what they are hoping for. That Homestead-Carroll game, that one's big on the girls' side. Those two teams trying to stay in a tie for first place in the SAC.
It's always a competitive matchup between Carroll and Homestead, but when you get some SAC rankings, some SAC standings involved, it just makes the competitive atmosphere so much more competitive, and it just makes the game better. And that one surely is not disappointed as Carroll's still in it despite being down 12.
All right, Atticus, shifting back to this one as the teams come back out for their warm-ups. What are your keys to the second half, first off, for the trailing Homestead Spartans?
I think the Spartans need to get the ball moving quicker. I mean, they've had possessions where it just stalls out due to the hesitation that their players have had. When they get the ball, they don't know what they're going to do, and that's something you have to know in basketball. As soon as you catch, you have to know whether you're going to shoot it, pass, or dribble, and the Spartans have hesitated just a little bit too much offensively.
And meanwhile, for the Tigers, how do they hold on to their victory and come out of here with a win?
I think if they just keep doing what they're doing on both sides of the ball defensively, they're pestering the Spartans. They're causing them to hesitate offensively. And then offensively, they're having a great balanced attack. They're looking for the three ball. They're attacking the rim. They're using their size on the arc and in the paint. So if the Tigers can keep up their play in the first half, they can hold this lead and come out here with the win.
And that three ball has been deadly from Warsaw. They shot only 27% from beyond the arc against Columbia City. It's been significantly better than that tonight. They have been getting them to drop, especially late in that first half. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We got one that might just come down to the wire between the Warsaw Tigers and the Homestead Spartans. Second half on the other side.
Marco's Pizza, located at 10349 Illinois Road, inside the shops of Scott Road. Marco's specializes in pizza, cheesy bread, subs, salads, and many other menu items. You can place an order for delivery or carryout by calling 625-6800. That number once again is 625-6800. You can also order online at marcos.com. Thank you, Marcos, for supporting the Point 91 FM and being a proud sponsor of Homestead High School athletics coverage on our station.
Back here at Homestead High School, getting ready for the third quarter. Homestead will be in possession of the ball to get the second half underway. So we talked about some of their keys overall, but what do you want to see on this first possession?
I just need to see from the Spartans just better offensive play. I mean, I talked about just their ball not moving. If they can get into a set and just get it going quickly without the hesitation, without the pausing, I think they can get an easy bucket here.
The Spartans so far, it actually looks like they've been playing better when the pace is more up-tempo compared to traditionally when they're a little bit slower with the ball in their hands.
Yeah, the Spartans are usually a team that likes to play with a slow, methodical pace, and it has worked for them over the years. But so far in this game, whenever they go faster, whenever they get into stuff quicker, it has worked. And I don't know why Coach Johnson and his team have not put more of an emphasis on going fast and catching the Tigers off guard.
Starting five out there for the Spartans. Only Kutzwal on the bench from the Tigers starting five as we begin this second half. Kuhlman dishes it to Weaver, and how about that? We talked about it in halftime. You got to get Weaver going, and they do it within the first 15 seconds.
And there's a design play for Weaver, just trying to get him going. I mean, if you can get him going offensively, it'll also boost his defensive play as he is a paint presence.
And the easy lay-in from Finlinson cancels out the 2 points from Weaver. Lead right back up to 5. Coleman has Berger bringing a little bit of pressure up court. Coleman hands it off to Smith. Now back to Coleman. Weaver with it once again. Outside, Rogers goes for the pump fake. Now Coleman. Homestead trying to get some movement. Welker tried to set a screen, but now out to Rogers. Again to Smith. Homestead not finding a lot of success on this possession. Gets it to Welker. There was a lot of contact there. Foul going to be charged to Brant Martin.
There again, the Spartans offense got a little hesitant, a little stagnant. Also, a lot of times the Spartans, whenever someone is setting a ball screen, the ball handler seems to reject the screen and not use it and try to cause the defender to think they're going to use it, but they're not. And I think they should just use it. I mean, a screen, especially if you have Weaver or Welker setting it, they have size. They can get you some separation.
Ball going to stay on this end as Finlinson got a piece of it. Rogers will be set to inbound it for the Spartans. Bricker will be playing him tightly. Coleman gets it in the backcourt. So just a two-possession game here as miscommunication. Welker wasn't ready for the pass.
There, Josh Rogers had Weaver wide open in the opposite corner. Didn't see him. Welker saw him, so he wasn't ready. He thought Rogers was going to throw it to Weaver in the corner, but Welker not ready for it. Ball goes out of bounds, and just another mental lapse, just another mistake the Spartans rarely make, and you can't make in a game of like this.
We spent a lot of time at the half talking about the increased offensive pace in the second quarter, but this has still been a relatively low-scoring game as Berger gets it to fall, and the Tigers they're known more for winning, especially last season, in more of those high-scoring matchups.
Yeah, the Tigers, they definitely are a team that puts up points on the board, but they also allow a good amount of points as well. But in this one, both offenses had a slow start, and also it seems like the defensive intensity was more of a talking and more focused point for both of these teams going into this one.
Last season, the Tigers put up 50-plus points in 19 of their 25 games, and they won 15 of those. This time, a little bit of a different approach early on in this season is letting the defense do what needs to be done. Rogers trying to change that here as he gets it to Welker. Welker inside, hop step. Now back to Kuhlman. Rogers in the corner. Welker calling for it. Ball goes to Kuhlman. Now Weaver with it. He'll drive inside, right block. Shot no good. Welker trying to get the board. Kept it alive temporarily, but his foot landed on the blue line.
Again, Weaver just couldn't get the shot to go in there. It seems the story of the game for the Spartans, just their big men not able to get anything going offensively. But still, they're still hustling. They're still putting an effort, as you saw there. Welker trying to make the save.
So Gould will bring it up the floor now for the Tigers. Brewer with it, guarded by Welker. Finlinson calling to Bricker. Now gets the ball to him. Rogers, tight defense. Bricker pokes free. Now the ball pokes free. Berger right's there and gets chomped down. Soccer slide tackle by Wyatt Weaver.
Weaver trying to make the hustle play, but Berger just there before him, causes him to pick up the foul. Just wrong place, wrong time for Weaver.
Gould will inbound it. Corner, catch and shoot. Three-pointer is a bit short that time. Welker gets the board for the Spartans. Now Kuhlman, as the lead has grown to 7 for the Tigers. Homestead got to try to stop the bleeding here. Kuhlman going to try to do so. Three-pointer does just that.
And Jake Kuhlman again, seemingly automatic from three here in this one. I mean, we talk about how he's not necessarily a top scorer for this team. He's more of a facilitator, but he's certainly taken this role as a scorer here in this one.
Top scorer so far in his early season high of 16 points. Bricker has the ball poked free once again. Weaver with it. Now Kuhlman, Spartans have numbers 3 on 2. Transition 3 off the mark.
A little bit of a heat check from Kuhlman.
Finlinson with it now for the Tigers. Gould holding it, guarded by Rogers. Backdoor pass works to perfection as Berger's right there.
It's a great pass. Berger with a timely cut, wide open. Weaver just could have maybe picked him up, just confused of where the ball went, so not able to make the defensive play.
Weaver with it now for the Spartans. Spinning around and gets it to fall. And Wyatt Weaver last year, that's what he did. Get the ball down low, spin around on one foot, and get the shot to drop.
If Weaver can get the ball in the post and get to his footwork, get to his post moves, he can be a steady offensive strategy for the Spartans, but they have to get him going. They have to get him more one-on-one opportunities in the post. And the Tigers, credit to them, they've done a great job of not allowing Weaver to get those one-on-one opportunities, as they're constantly sending doubles or constantly denying the passes to the post.
Myra checks back into the game for the Tigers as Rogers picks up his first foul of the night. Bricker with it. He's going to go for the contested three-pointer, a bit short. Welker gets the board. The deficit down to 4 now for the Spartans. Try to cut into it again here. Rogers with it. Working it towards the right. Now Kuhlman going to drive inside. Doesn't get the shot to fall, but he'll go to the free throw line with the foul.
Great take there by Kuhlman. He's been looking for the three-point shot almost exclusively here tonight, but they're switching up a little bit, getting to the rim and drawing the foul.
So Kuhlman already 16 points in this game and a couple made free throws. He'll head back to the line. First one falls, so 3 of 3 on the night from the charity stripe.
And they're called free throws for a reason, Braxton. They should be free points to get your team back into games, just like Kuhlman is doing here with that free throw and potentially another one.
Couttois is going to check back into the game for the Tigers. I'll be honest, I've been a little bit surprised about how little he's been in this game so far.
yeah, you would expect someone of his size to be a very important part in their strategy offensively and defensively, but whether they've been reserving him for the twilight moments of this game or whether it's just been he hasn't been able to get anything going and Tigers are putting in players who've been producing, I do not know, but like you mentioned, it's surprising that he hasn't been in as much.
Smith, cross court, Kuhlman for the tie, gets it to fall.
And who else but Jake Kuhlman for the Spartans. Just another three-pointer. Just so dominant from three here tonight.
32 all with 11 minutes to play at Spartan Arena. Three-pointer on the other end. That one swish from Robbie Finlinson. Coach Moore going to use a timeout, but the offense is opening it back up just a little bit. As this seemed to be the theme throughout much of this game. If one team gets a deep one to fall, the other squad's right there to bounce back.
Whenever one team does something good, the other team does something just as good right back. I mean, just a three-point battle so far in this one between these two teams. And coming in, I didn't expect these teams to be three-point hunting teams, but here tonight they have done that.
Very tight one here. You see Homestead and Carroll, the girls' basketball game. That one getting tight as well as the lead now into single digits for the Spartans. But here, a single-digit deficit for Homestead. And why have they been able to cut into this lead in the third quarter?
They've done a great job at playing with some pace. They've gotten some things offensively to get going that they didn't in the first half. I mean, Wyatt Weaver up to 4 points, just trying to get him as many easy buckets as they can. And if you get Weaver in the low post game going, you can find opportunities to kick the ball out to Jake Kuhlman, Owen Smith, Josh Rogers, any one of the Spartans spotting up for three.
And while 4 points obviously isn't a ton, those have all come in this quarter, and it opens up another dimension to the offense that you mentioned, gets these other shooters open outside. Kuhlman with it now for Homestead. Going to try to find one of those open shooters. Smith now back to Kuhlman. He is the open shooter and gets it to fall for the tie.
And Jake Kuhlman cannot miss right now. Just electric from three, and there's too much space every single time.
23 points in this game from Jake Kuhlman. 2/3 of the Spartans' points in this one. Gould with it, three-pointer on the other side. That time in and out. Kutzwal using his size gets the board. And then deflected, ball kicked around. And officials talking over the call. No signal yet. This could be big. Over 10 minutes to play, but right now such a tight game, they're going to say it stays on this end.
And the Spartans bench not liking the call at all. I mean, that's a huge call to make in such a tight game like this. Every possession matters. Not an easy call at all for the officials to make.
I got to say, in real time, it did look like they made the right call. It looked like to me it bounced off the leg of a Spartan player. So tight one to make, but I think the officials got it right this time. As we now go under 10 minutes to play in regulation. Bricker out to Martin. Now Kutzwa hands it off. Bricker pokes free, or has it poked free, I should say. Now Welker resets. Catch and shoot three-pointer from Martin is short. And Laura tries to keep it alive, but it trickles out of bounds in the end.
And Laura there just putting on a great example of how important possessions are in this one. I mean, even when the ball seems to be going out of bounds, just still using 110% of his energy to try to make the save, just try to keep the ball alive for his team.
Welker with it, guarded tightly by Martin. Now Rodenbush, he has some space, drives and gets it to fall. Homestead has the lead for the first time this half.
The Spartans going on one of those runs that they had in that first half. Now the question is, are the Tigers going to respond, or are the Spartans going to be able to hold on to this lead?
Gould, pump fake, swings it out. LaRue going to go up with it. And they're saying no shot foul on the floor against Homestead. And the foul going to be charged to Rodenbush. He picks up his second of the night. Finlinson going to come back in now for the Tigers as Kutzwal heads back to the bench. 2-point deficit here for Warsaw, trying to get that inbound play, and once again, those inbound plays working for the Tigers.
Tigers just able to get an easy bucket on those inbound plays, something that you can't allow if you're the Spartans. Just a game so close like this one, you can't allow those easy points that you can easily prevent.
Weaver with it. Dishes to Kuhlman, and add 2 more to the total for Jay Kuhlman. He's up to 25. Finlinson maybe thought about the deep 3-pointer there. Moreau with it. Now back to Finlinson, guarded by Welker. Spinning around slowly, working the ball inside, and whole lot of contact. That's going to be a foul against Homestead. We'll see who they charge it to officially. There's a lot of contact down low, and it's going to go against Aiden Good. Less than 30 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Gould looking to inbound it wide open, Martin. Weaver does a good job of crashing out. The ball comes loose, chance to reset. See the Tigers hold for the final look, down by 2. The possession arrow in their favor. All to Gould. Now under 10 to play. Bricker. Ball squirts free. And now he's going to force one up, and he gets it to fall. How about that one? It drops. Kuhlman half-court heave, and a bit strong off the top of the glass. And Luke Bricker pulling a rabbit out of the hat to end the third quarter. And the Warsaw Tigers lead by 1 on the road. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a fun final 8 minutes from Homestead High School. Getting ready for quarter number 4 in a tight one at Homestead High School. Luke Bricker nailing a 3-pointer to end the third for the Tigers, and they've got the 1-point lead as we begin the fourth and potentially final period of play.
And Braxton, you said it there, potentially final quarter. I mean, who knows with this one, just such a tight contest. I could see this one going into extra playing time.
And this living up to what last games did as well, a tight one. Homestead, they collapsed in the fourth quarter of that game. There's no way around it. It's what gave the Tigers the win. This time, trying to rewrite history.
The Spartans can just avoid just a breakdown mentally and how they play like they did last year. They can come back. It's only a 1-point deficit. They can easily come back and hold on to a lead in this fourth quarter, but it all comes down to their mental toughness. I mean, the Tigers have been putting on constant pressure. How are their underclassmen, Welker and Kuhlman, going to face the pressure?
So here we go, fourth quarter underway. Berger with it now for the Tigers. Gets a little bit of space, goes up. Welker rejects it, sending it into the glass. Rogers with it now for the Spartans. Out to Kuhlman, Jake Kuhlman has been in almost this entire game. Welker goes up and gets it a 4-and-1.
And Mac Welker with his first points of the night, and what a way to do so. And one layup after the block on the other end. Mac Welker early in this quarter making his presence felt on both ends.
Finally able to break through. He's been all over the place this game, just hadn't got one to fall. It does so there. And now trying to add a free throw to the total. That time a bit strong. And down goes LaRue getting the board, and they're going to call a travel there. And he's going up for it. The contact knocks him to the ground.
Just an unfortunate play there for the Tigers, and what seemed to be an easy rebound, and now a new offensive possession turns into a Spartans offensive possession of their own.
Roddenbush uncontested jumper doesn't go. Now on the other end, Finlinson wide open, goes up and banks it home. And the Tigers right back to a 1-point lead. Back and forth these two squads go. Kuhlman with it for the Spartans. Now to Welker. Spinning around, ball comes free. Gould just rips it away. And now tossing it back. Martin takes it to the rack. And the lead's up to 3 for the Tigers.
And Gould did have 7 steals in the Tigers' last contest, showing why they're just stripping Welker on the spin move and turns it into easy offense for his teammate Martin.
Spartans avoiding a turnover there. Down by 3 as Warsaw bringing the energy in the first minute of this quarter. We'll see how the Spartans respond. Smith with it. Now Rogers, pump fake. Turning around, and Welker frustrated there as there's some miscommunication.
And the Spartans have had too many of these miscommunications in this one, and luckily it hasn't cost them too much as they're still in it, but you just can't throw the ball out of bounds like that in a close game in the fourth quarter.
Martin with it to Berger. Now again taking it inside, left hand doesn't drop. Smith gets the board for Homestead. Now Rodenbush with it. Tosses it back to Rogers. Kuhlman. Just over 6 minutes to play in this one, a 1-possession game. Smith. Back to Rogers. Homestead taking their time, trying to slow things down a little bit. It's been a frantic start to this quarter. Kuhlman. On a Welker, spinning around and gets it to fall.
And if Welker can get his offensive game going consistently here in this one, it could be a scary sight for the Tigers.
And then a travel on the other end turns it right back over and erases a potential 3-pointer from Warsaw.
Spartans catching a lucky break there. Finlayson wide open, just a miscommunication between Kuhlman and Smith on who had the ball there, but luckily for the Spartans, Finlayson got the travel called on him so they get a chance to take the lead here on this possession.
1-point game, less than 6 to play. Kuhlman dishes it to Rodenbush, trying to create space on his own, and he does just enough to get it to fall. So Homestead back in the lead. Here comes the Warsaw offense. Carson Gould running it, and we're going to get a timeout from Coach Moore and the Warsaw Tigers. 5:30 to play at Spartan Arena. Homestead leads by 1.
Rethink your limits.
If you're enjoying what you're seeing here tonight, don't forget to join us again. Our next broadcast coming up on Tuesday. Homestead, another non-conference game. They'll face DeKalb, but still 5.5 minutes to play in this one. You see Coach Johnson in the huddle there. Got to be proud of the way his guys have responded in the second half.
Despite the ups and downs that the Spartans have gone through this game, they have done one thing all game, and that is fight and hustle. That's 2 things, actually. Just the Spartans just able to always find a way to bounce back no matter the situation.
So here we go. 5.5 to play. Robbie Finlayson windbound it. It's it into Gould. Ball pokes free. That's been a symptom here for the Tigers, but a wide open Berger 3-pointer is nothing but net.
Berger just wide open. That cannot happen if you're the Spartans. They've had too many of those defensive lapses where someone is wide open.
Kuhlman to Rogers. Now back to Kuhlman. Smith with it. He'll step inside the arc. Now back out to Rodenbush. Rodenbush, and he's going to be a lot of contact there as Carson Gould. Easy foul call in the reach-in.
The Spartans just looking to drive in this one so far. They've been a 3-point oriented team here tonight, but in this fourth quarter they seem to abandon that and just try to get to the rim and get these tough layups to go in.
Late substitution as Laura is going to come back in. He had 11 points in the first game. He's been silent tonight. Rogers now with it. Off to Kuhlman. He has 25, but it's been a little bit since he scored. Welker Down low, Roddenbush, Smith, catch and shoot, 3 off the mark. Welker trying to get the board and calling the timeout, and he's just going to get it before falling out of bounds. Good heads-up play there from Mac Welker.
Welker, despite not having a lot of experience at the varsity level, just plays beyond his years with a heads-up play there to save the Spartans from another turnover.
We'll step away, but we're back in 30 seconds, 4:42 to go at Spartan Arena. .442 to go from Spartan Arena under timeout. Here is Mac Welker making a big heads-up play. Now, obviously, it's a big if, but if the Spartans can come back and win this game, we're going to look back to that play from Mac Welker, getting that timeout before falling out of bounds.
That play may seem insignificant to some people, but that was truly a great heads-up play to avoid a turnover and also give the Spartans another chance to draw something up and try to get a quick point off the inbound.
See what the Spartans did draw up here. Still just a one-possession game, as this one has been so often throughout the night. Coolman to Smith. Thought about the catch and shoot. Wasn't there, so out to Rogers now. Now back to Smith. Roddenbush, a little bit of space. Berger closes in. Good job defensively. Ball ends up in the hands of Smith. Now Coolman goes up for the contested jumper. That time a bit short. Ball ends up in the hands of Berger for the Tigers.
There, just a bit of a forced shot by Coolman. He's been feeling it, but just maybe not the best shot the Spartans could have gotten on that possession.
Gould tries to dish it down low, gets it to Martin. Shot won't go, but led to the free throw line. Foul called against Roddenbush. That's the third for Roddenbush. So here comes Martin. He went 5 of 6. Their game against Columbia City from the line, and his first one tonight is good.
These are some important free throws. Braxton just try to build up as big of a lead as you can before the game reaches its very final, intense moments.
Martin to make it a 2-possession lead, and he gets it to fall. Both of those true as can be. So 4-point lead for the Tigers. Homestead got to come away with some points on this possession as we approach the midway point of the fourth. Weaver gets it to Smith. Now Coolman. Spinning around, guarded by Leroux. Smith. Right now, Spartans stuck wide around the arc. Not really getting any penetration down low. Rogers to Weaver. Welker calling for it. No lane, though, for Weaver to go to him. Smith. Berger, he's been big defensively down the stretch of this one. Now Welker forces one up. It doesn't drop.
And the Spartans, that possession took a long time. Couldn't get anything going inside, just kind of hovering around the arc. And there, Welker just forcing something as the Spartans' offense was just rattled.
And Gould just holding it right now, letting the clock wind. Now trying to drive inside. Coolman there for defense, swats it away and gets the rebound in the process. Now Welker with it. Spartans have numbers, but a foul going to stop the fast break from Homestead.
And there, a great foul by Gould as Welker had a wide open Josh Rogers in the lane for a wide open layup, so a heads up foul there to stop the Spartans' transition offense.
Coolman inbounds it to Weaver, trying to go up with it, and it's short. Not even able to get the rim. Now here comes Berger. 2 on 3, and a charge. It's going the other way. Heads up play from Owen Smith.
And a nice play there by Smith to make up for that poor offensive possession that the Spartans had off the inbound. But the Spartans, they've had some opportunities on the offensive end to get some going, but it seems like they've just forced and rushed into things now. you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get in the game of basketball, so you have to make each and every one count.
And that's big. That's the 4th for Berger. He remains on the floor right now, but he's been arguably the best defensive player for the Tigers tonight. Got to keep an eye on him. Here goes Weaver up with it. It squirts free. Ends up in the hands of Gould. Up across the timeline, sub 3 to play in this one. Martin behind the back, taking it to the rack. It's no good. Here comes Kuhlman up the floor for the Spartans. Wide open, Rogers set, steps inside the arc. It's money. And immediately a timeout going to be called by Coach Johnson of the Spartans. A much-needed bucket there from Josh Rogers. 2.5 to play in this one, and neither team able to pull away whatsoever.
Yeah, we talked about how this game was back and forth in game of runs, and it has been that the entire time. Neither team able to get a big lead on the other, just back and forth basketball. You love to see it.
This has already been one of the early season front runners for best game here in Northeast Indiana. These teams, they're used to playing games that come down to the wire, both of these schools in very competitive conferences. But it's early in this season. These guys, they haven't spent a ton of time together, a lot of them, and that could mean experience matters a lot down the stretch. Keep in mind, though, both these teams have a lot of seniors, 8 for the Tigers, 6 for the Spartans.
Just for the Tigers, the seniors, they've been playing together. 4 of their 8 seniors were all in the starting lineup together, and while Spartans, they have 2 sophomores in their starting lineup, and they're playing crunch time minutes, and they haven't had the most varsity experience yet. While the Tigers are full of experience, that's kind of their thing that sets them apart from other teams, their experience. So it's going to be very interesting on how both teams play in these final 2.5 minutes.
Meidenberger's going to remain out on the floor for Warsaw with 4 fouls. Tigers have the ball and the 2-point lead coming out of the timeout. 2.5 to play in this one. Still very much hanging in the balance. Here comes Bricker, guarded by Rogers. Now Gould with it. And at the top, Kuhlman on him defensively. 24 versus 24. Now Martin gets it. Finlinson. Tigers seem content to run a little bit of clock right now. This possession already at 25 seconds. Now Finlinson to Gould. Back to Finlinson. It's been 30 seconds. Tigers haven't even really gotten the ball inside yet. Berger guarded by Welker. Warsaw milking the clock. Some points here would be huge. Finlinson out to Gould. Now a 45-second possession continuing. Warsaw showing no sign of shooting the ball. And now Rogers comes in trying to get a steal. He's going to be charged with a foul. That'll be the second team foul for Homestead.
That possession there wasn't ideal for the Tigers, but they did a great job at just milking the clock down and also drawing a foul against the Spartans. And if the Spartans do get to a situation where they're going to have to foul to force Tigers to get to the free throw line, that's going to come sooner for them. So while the Tigers couldn't get anything going, they also they weren't harmed from that possession.
And I wonder if the message from Coach Moore was only shoot if you're wide open. Otherwise, just run the clock. Welker guarding Berger. Berger tries a dish it inside, and it goes out of bounds. There was a lot of contact down low, but they're going to say the ball was dead before that happened. Sam Lara going to come into the game as Finlinson heads to the bench, so that's a defensive substitution there with 80 seconds to play in this one. Spartans down by 2. Here comes Leroux with the pressure. Kuhlman gets it across the timeline. Now out to Weaver. Kuhlman with it. Rogers just able to get the pass out in front of him. Now Smith. Kuhlman. Welker down low. Spartans trying to work this ball inside. Welker spins around. He's fouled. Heading to the line for 2 and a chance to tie it.
That was one of probably the most important possession for the Spartans up to this point in this game. And Mac Welker with the most important free throws that he has to shoot here in this one. These are huge free throws.
And that's the 4th foul for Gould. So now 2 Tigers players out on the floor with 4 fouls. Welker's first free throw is up, and that one is short. So that makes the second one all the more important, especially if the Spartans get into a situation where they have to start intentionally fouling.
Yeah, expect the Spartans to put on the pressure. You see Kuhlman and Rogers in at the free throw line. But the point is that they're not going to go get a rebound, but make or miss, they're going to be there to put some pressure on the Tigers instantly.
Second one rattles home from Welker, so he knows 1 of 2 from the line. Rodenbush going to come into the game now for the Spartans. And Smith heads to the bench. That's a bit of a defensive substitution there for Homestead. So Berger trying to get it across. Homestead bringing the press. Martin driving, spinning around. And a timeout going to be called there by Coach Moore. I think he was fearing a trap potentially coming from the Spartans. We're going to take a break. 49-48. Don't go in there. We have the final 51 seconds on the other side.
Rethink your limits.
51 seconds to go at Homestead High School. We see the other score on your screen. The Lady Spartans 65-44 lead. Just about a minute to play in that one. So Homestead, they're going to get at least one victory tonight. The question, can the boys come from behind and get the victory in the final 51 seconds against Warsaw?
This is a great test for the Spartans early in this one. A situation where they're down in the late moments in this game. How are they going to respond? What is their strategy? Something that I would love to see here from Coach Johnson and his team.
End of games. This is where legacies are made, when players show their true skill and we find out who can shine under the lights. The Spartans right now with 2 team fouls, so they have 2 to give before it would send the Tigers to the free throw line. Gould looking to inbound it and throws it right off of Kuhlman. So that runs 0.3 of a second off the clock, but Spartans were able to keep the Tigers from finding an open pass.
And the inbound plays from the Tigers have been killing the Spartans all game long, so if they're able to not allow an easy bucket off the inbound, that's huge.
Here comes Bricker, guarded by Rogers. How long do the Spartans go before fouling?
I think once it gets to about, well, there's your answer right there, Braxton.
Yeah, that answers it pretty quickly. Kuhlman, whether it was intentional or not, he was being very aggressive, trying to poke the ball free. And that's a message in this situation. Is it be aggressive, try to poke it free, but a foul's okay?
Absolutely, Braxton. I mean, with time running down, you have fouls to give, and if you can force them to the free throw line, I mean, even if they hit both free throws, it's still a 1-possession game. So the message most likely was be aggressive, fouls are okay.
And that one from Rodenbush, 100% on purpose. So now it is the bonus for the Tigers. The next foul will put them in the bonus. They'll head to the free throw line as Rodenbush does pick up his 4th foul. And there is the one that puts them in the bonus. So Meidenberger will go to the free throw line. He has not taken one yet this season. Good news for the Spartans. Even if he makes both, it is still a 1-possession game. But these are huge for Berger if he can get both of these to drop.
This is a huge moment for both teams. And Berger has been solid all game long, but the pressure, let's see if it gets to him here.
Both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the way. Here come the free throws for Berger. The first one is no good. And Gould came running in, perhaps forgetting it is not a 1-and-1. This is the second year under the new foul format in the state of Indiana, where 5 per quarter. It's 2 free throws. So here we go. Spartans fans making noise. Berger trying to get the lead up to 2 for the Tigers, trying to crack 50 in the process. And the free throw no good, so he misses both at the line. Spartans will be in possession. They control their own destiny on this one. Kuhlman driving inside, goes up, a lot of contact, no call. Ball stays in bounds. Bricker ends up with it. Now Martin going down court, flies through the air, goes down. He'll head to the line.
Well, Braxton, pandemonium there. A lot of contact on both ends. The Spartan fans, the Spartans bench, the Spartans coaches, they all think it should have been a foul there. There was a lot of contact against Kuhlman. I'm not here to say I'm not an official for a reason. Tough call to make. But there Weaver with a pretty clear foul on the other end.
Well, regardless of what might have been, fact of the matter is the foul goes against the Spartans, sends Martin to the line. He makes his first, and this is the guy they want at the stripe, a great free throw shooter. 83% coming into this evening. He had already made 2. Now he's made 3, trying to make it 4, and he does just that. 14 points from Martin, 17 seconds to play. Spartans down by 3, 1 timeout. Kuhlman across midcourt. And there's that timeout from Coach Johnson with 12 seconds to play. And now it's time to draw up a play, try to get something going. Now the question is, so often in the late stages of this game, do you go for the three-pointer or do you go for the quick 2 and then the foul?
I think the Spartans, they have to go for the 3. They've had success shooting the 3 ball. I mean, Kuhlman, Smith, Raudenbush, they've all been able to connect from downtown. If you're able to get one of them open, they have a great chance of making it. I think you go for the tie.
See what happens. And also what lineup goes out there for the Tigers, because some of their better defensive players like Berger, you know, we've already seen him miss 2 free throws at the line. Do you leave him out there for his defensive presence, but then risk him getting fouled when the ball ends up back in the hands of the Tigers?
I think Coach Moore has to trust his guys. I think he has to trust Berger. I mean, even if he does get fouled and goes to the stripe, the Spartans don't have a timeout, so it's not like they can advance the ball and get a quick bucket off of the missed free throw. So I think you leave Berger out there.
See what happens. Coach Johnson drawing up the play for his team. It's early in this season, but both these squads, they want to stay undefeated. For Homestead, a win gives them a chance to move into the rankings. For Warsaw, they're trying to stay in that top 10 and advance their position in the state rankings. See what happens. An early season non-conference showdown coming down to the wire. You see we do have a final in the Carroll Homestead girls game. Homestead wins 66-48, but we still got one to be decided right in front of us. Rogers will inbound it for the Spartans. And he gets it to Kuhlman in the backcourt, so it looks like they're going to set up for the three-pointer. Kuhlman moving outside, hoists one up for the tie, and it rattles home. Jay Kuhlman has 28, and the tie half-court heave is no good, and we are going to overtime. 51-51. Another look at the three-pointer from Jay Kuhlman.
And who else for the Spartans but Jay Kuhlman? The sophomore taking over in the game's biggest moments, delivering once again for his team. What a tough shot to send it into overtime.
What a game this has been. We're tied up at 51, and we're back in 30 seconds with overtime.
Rethink your limits.
Jay Kuhlman keeping the game alive for the Spartans. A three-pointer ties this one at 51 as we head off to overtime.
And Braxton, we were expecting a tie contest in this one, and boy, did it deliver. Tied at 51, now in overtime, and more time for these teams to prove why they are both so good and both can compete at the top level.
Can't get any tighter than this. All tied up after 32 minutes. Both teams will be in the bonus as we begin overtime. It'll be the same jump ball we saw at the beginning. Welker versus Bricker. The Spartans won it in the first quarter. We'll see what happens here. Officials pausing real quick, and here we go. And now whistles coming on the other end. Got to get everything set up just perfectly for the final, potentially 4 minutes of this game. The ball is tipped, and the Spartans control it once again. Who else but Jake Kuhlman with the first touch for the Spartans?
And this possession for the Spartans can set the tone for overtime. If they can get a good possession here, it'll put them in a great position to maintain a lead.
Raudenbush with it. Now to Kuhlman. He has 28 points in this game. Owen Smith now for the Spartans. Spinning around. and Rogers. 4 of the 5 starters out there for Homestead. Rodenbush in place of Weaver. As Gould now with it for the Tigers as they get the first stop in this overtime period.
Martin just jumping the gun, stealing the intended post feed to Welker, and now Tigers get a chance to turn defense into offense.
Bricker spinning inside and travel before the shot. Spartans catch a break there. That was close to giving the Tigers the lead. Quickly, Homestead's going to get the ball inbounded. Still tied up at 51. We approach 3 minutes to play. Coleman working towards his left. Now resets on the Spartan head. Out to Rogers. Josh Rogers gets it to Welker. Smith. Jumper is up, and that one is good from Owen Smith. We haven't seen a ton of jumpers into this game, but that one falls.
And Smith, second bucket of the game, but a timely one. And a huge shot to give the Spartans the lead as there's 2.5 minutes left in this overtime.
Martin with it, guarded by Rodenbush. Slips, and that's going to be a foul charge to Rodenbush, I believe, and that will go against him. And I believe that is his 5th foul of the game, and it is. So Rodenbush, he is going to be done for the evening, and that is a huge loss. He ends the night with 7 points. He's going to be forced to come out, and now see who Coach Johnson puts into the game. It's going to be Wyatt Weaver, who has 4 points in this one. And so Weaver coming in, you get a little bit of the size back on the floor, but you maybe lose a little bit of the mobility and outside range that comes with Rodenbush.
Rodenbush, more of an all-around scoring threat than Weaver, but Weaver does bring great size that can be used both offensively and defensively.
Martin back to the line. The first one is good. He has 15 and is yet to miss a free throw in this game, 5 of 5. And now this one to tie it up with 2.5 to play. Second one is up. That time it just rattles home for Martin. We're knotted up at 53. Welker inbounding it to Rogers. Bring it up the floor. Rogers working around. And does the mentality change at all offensively once you get into an overtime situation?
I think it does. I think you have to be way more careful with your looks. You have to play with much more discipline, as there's not a lot of time like there is in the quarters of play.
Welker makes this possession count offensively as he gets it to go, and then he's going to get teed up for taunting, and that's a killer there. Coach Johnson not happy, not sure if it's with the call or with Welker. And, I mean, obviously we can't hear what he's saying down there, but from up here, it didn't look like anything outside of the ordinary.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing that we can't pick up what he's saying, because I'm sure Coach Johnson is fired up and not in a good way after that. Just Welker just let the emotion get a little too much control over him.
Oh, it gives Martin to the free throw line, as of course he's the guy they're going to send. This one to tie the game up. And it does just that. So the Tigers get the 2 freebies from the Tech, and they will have possession. And a timeout from the Tigers. 55-55, 1:57 to go in overtime. Back here at Homestead High School, a big momentum changer in this game. And in the fourth quarter, we talked about the Welker timeout. If the Spartans win this game, we would look back at it. Well, now if the Spartans lose this game, we're going to look back at another Mac Welker play. That technical after the bucket, something you cannot do. And whether it should have been or should not have been a technical, that's up for debate. But you cannot be that close to a player yelling in their face. And it gives the Tigers 2 free points to tie this one up in possession of the ball.
Welker just making a simple mistake that just cannot happen. Just let the high intensity emotions that he felt after that tough bucket get to him. Just letting the Tigers know that he just scored that bucket, but it cost them, and now the Tigers have a chance to take a lead as the time in this overtime period is just dwindling down.
For Welker, that was his third foul of the game. Gould with it for the Tigers, working at the top. Guarded by Kuhlman. Two of the best players in this game. Finlayson, three-pointers off the mark. Rogers gets the board, and then we're going to get a loose ball foul. It looks like it's going to be charged to Martin. We'll wait for the official decision. But with both teams being in the bonus, that'll send the Spartans to the free throw line, and the foul is charged to Martin.
And huge free throws coming up for Wyatt Weaver. Been off this game, hasn't made as big of an impact as he can, but that does not matter as long as he hits these free throws.
Weaver's first free throw is up, and that one is good. Wyatt Weaver, that was his first free throw of the season. And now his second one at the line is up. And that one good as well. Wyatt Weaver up to 6 points. Homestead lead up to 2. Finlayson with it. Now Gould, guarded by Kuhlman. These two have been all over each other all night. Finlayson guarded by Smith. Gould, a little bit of space at the volleyball line. Now Berger sitting on 4 fouls. Gould, head fake, spinning around. 80 seconds to go now. Tigers not getting a whole lot of separation on this possession. Gould again with it. Warsaw taking their time. We talked about it earlier. Every possession just means more in overtime. You only got half the time to play with in this period. Three-pointer is money. This possession counts for Finlayson and the Tigers.
And Finlayson making that possession count, no doubt about it. Huge three to take the lead, and now it's up to the Spartans to respond.
Rogers with it for Homestead. Now Kuhlman. He has been the man all night with 28 points. Dishes it down low to Welker, lays it in. And now Homestead back in the lead. Welker has 7 of his own. Finlayson spinning back. And we're going to get whistles, a timeout from Coach Moore and the Warsaw Tigers. A chance to reset here and talk things over, down by 1. And a huge situation here is in the fourth period, it was the Tigers who had the lead. The Spartans had to come from behind. Now Warsaw with 30 seconds to play. They're the ones who face a deficit.
Tigers find themselves in the flip position that they found earlier, but Tigers surely have options. Their offense has not disappointed here tonight. I mean, they have great scorers in Martin, Finlayson, and Bricker, all in the double digits for the Tigers, so plenty of options offensively. You also have Berger, who's had a great game, mainly defensively, but he's also been a spark offensively. So the Tigers have the assets, they have the players, and if they can draw something up here, they can easily take the lead.
So what play do you go with here? What do you think you're looking at off the inbound?
I think off the inbound, you try to set a screen for one of your guys, maybe Martin in the post, as he has the size to go up with it, but if he can also draw fouls, and he's been money from the free throw line, hasn't missed one, so if you can send him to the line, that's an almost guaranteed 2 points for the Tigers. So Tigers have a lot of options, and I expect them to use their size to set some hard screens, try to catch the Spartans off guard.
What a game this has been, and we're still far from done. 30 seconds to go in overtime. Gould inbounds it, quick play to Bricker. How about that? That works to perfection. Quick bucket. Bricker has 15. The Tigers regain the lead, and Coach Johnson's going to get a timeout now for the Spartans. So now both teams are out of timeouts. 23 seconds to play. And now, well, it's basically the same situation, but on the other end, the Spartans now down by 1. What do they look to do on this possession?
I think if you can get Jake Kuhlman driving downhill, just get Jake Kuhlman some space to operate. I mean, he's been able to score tonight, clearly the leading scorer in this entire game, but he's also been able to facilitate. I mean, on the layup that Welker hit for the Spartans to take the lead before that Tigers bucket off the inbound, Kuhlman got downhill and found Welker for a wide open layup. So I think if you can just get Kuhlman or any of the playmakers on the Spartans some space to operate, they can make something happen.
Now, Kuhlman has not scored in overtime yet. He has 28 points on the night, nearly half of the Spartans' total, but He has been silenced in this period. I agree with you. Try to get him the ball defensively. What type of look do the Tigers go with here?
I think the Tigers, they try to send some pressure, try to make Kuhlman give the ball up, try to force someone on the Spartans to make a decision that's tough to make, try to get them to make a mistake, whether it be a travel or throw it away. I mean, there have been a lot of travels on both sides, so if you can get someone on the Spartans out of rhythm and cause them to travel, the Tigers could easily do that and get a great defensive stop when they need it most.
Rogers will inbound with Bricker in his face. Stacked formation for the Spartans as they break loose. Rogers inbounds it to Weaver. Important to remember, no timeouts for either team. Kuhlman has the ball bounce off the foot of LaRoe. That was close to a turnover. Kicked ball violation. Keeps it with the Spartans.
There, Kuhlman got downhill, tried to hit Welker again, but LaRoe all over it, getting his foot on the ball. Now the Spartans have to reset.
Kuhlman with it. It looks like he's the man they're trying to get it to once again, guarded by LaRoe. Kuhlman out to Weaver. Now Smith. Less than 10 seconds to play. Kuhlman once again, and he is fouled. He will head to the line with 1 to tie and 2 for the lead. For Martin, that is his third. And who else do you want at the line right now if you're a Spartans fan? The man who has scored 28 points in this game heads to the line with a chance to tie or take the lead. The first free throw from Kuhlman is up, and that one no good. And now a second one coming for the tie.
Huge free throw for Kuhlman and the Spartans. I mean, make or miss it alters the Spartans' strategy. If he does miss, they're going to have to look to foul quickly.
Here we go for the tie. Kuhlman, it's up, and it is good. That's 29 points for Kuhlman. 6 seconds to play, no timeouts for the Tigers. Gould dishes it to Berger. The jumper for the win, banks it in, and that will do it. The Warsaw Tigers walk it off. Maiden Berger at the buzzer, and Warsaw wins it 62-60 in overtime.
And what a shot from Berger. He was a key player for the Tigers all game long. He'd been quiet on offense in the late parts of that game, but comes through with a bank shot off the glass for the win. And what a game, what a finish.
Game of the year to this point. The number 8 team in the land stays undefeated as they knock off the Homestead Spartans. And who else but Maiden Berger? We talked about his presence all night, mainly defensively, and he banks it in to walk it off for the Tigers.
Berger's defensive efforts rewarded there with the walk-off jumper. What a big-time shot to spoil the Spartans' comeback story at home. And what a great game.
See a cool moment. The players shaking hands at mid-court. As Berger, one of 3 juniors on the team for Warsaw, he makes the play there. Well, let's try to break this game down as we enter the OPS post-game show. And this was a fun one from beginning to end. Neither team really could get a big lead. Neither team had a lead larger than the single digits at any point. And you look at the fourth quarter, as of course the thing that stole the show was the Jake Kuhlman 3-pointer. That's what got us to overtime. And then in overtime, just like the rest of the game, it was back and forth. And in the end, it was Berger with the buzzer beater that won this game for the Tigers.
I mean, Braxton, I'm just out of breath thinking about what all you just said. I mean, constant up and downs was this one. Neither team could really pull away. There were times where the game was slower, no one could get anything going offensively, and there was times it was a shootout, just a great overall mix of game. Just both teams displaying both their talents offensively and defensively. And that shot by Berger, a big-time shot, fadeaway bank shot, just open off the fast-paced transition offense from the Tigers. We talked about it, how the teams, whenever they got going fast, they succeeded, and that was true to the very end.
And for all the competitiveness and all the chippiness we saw in this game, even a technical at one point, really cool to see these two teams coming together at the end, share a moment of prayer at mid-court. And what a game this was. What a performance from both squads. I don't think there was a player on the court tonight who who didn't have an impact in some form or fashion.
I mean, I talked about it in the pregame show for the Tigers. Everyone on their roster finds a way to impact the game, whether it be their performance on the court, their energy on the bench, and the Spartans did just that as well. No matter who Coach Johnson put in, they delivered, and their energy was just so high in this building at all times. That makes for such a competitive atmosphere and raises both teams' level of play.
On Atticus, as if I need to ask, who's your player of the game today?
Despite the loss for the Spartans, Jake Kuhlman has to be the player of the game. 29 points, season high, career high. I mean, what a game from Jake Kuhlman. Really stole the show for the Spartans, was always there when the Spartans needed something, delivered time and time again. But the Tigers spoiled Jake Kuhlman's parade. They spoiled the Spartans' story and steal one here at Spartan Arena.
Yeah, I'll take the easy one for my pick. Player of the game, Maiden Berger. I harped on him all night long with his defensive play. Well, he showed he can do it offensively at the buzzer, getting the win for the Tigers. Warsaw wins this one 62-60 in Atticus. It's a quick turnaround for Warsaw. They play Huntington North tomorrow. Any final thoughts before we leave this one?
Both teams played a great game, but they cannot get caught up on this one, win or lose. They have tough opponents coming up in their schedule, so they have to stay locked in. They have to keep getting the reps in and continue their successes as the season continues to progress.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast as the Warsaw Tigers defeat the Homestead Spartans in overtime, 62-60, thanks to a Meidenberger walk-off bucket. Our next broadcast will be Tuesday. Homestead, another non-conference game early in this season. They'll face DeKalb. Until then, on behalf of the entire Homestead Live crew and color commentator Atticus Dean, I'm Braxton Hall saying so long from Spartan Arena.